Hey, what's up, guys? It's another episode of Living Proof, and I am your host, Ian Hilton. Yay! No, I won't ever do that again. I'm sorry, but So this episode, I want to talk about anxiety and panic attacks, just because it is it can mess with your life. It can mess with your daily activities and stuff like that. So. I kind of want to talk about it just so what I learned about how to mitigate it and how to deal with it. Because in most cases, like me, it won't ever go away. Which I don't think. But anyway, so basically a panic attack / anxiety. I mean, for me, that goes hand in hand, because as soon as I start feeling anxiety, I get into a panic attack, like just right there and then. It's just like a matter of seconds. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I'll talk about triggering later, but I mean, anything can trigger mine. I can't like pinpoint what triggers mine and what causes it, but I can tell you that it comes on whatever it fucking wants to, wherever that beast wants to come and give you the big old. Yeah. Anyways, so a panic attack and anxiety. So how this kind of works for me and how it's been affecting me is, it gives me like a high, like my heart starts beating really, really fast, and I can't concentrate because my mind's racing. I can't focus on what I want, and so I'm just constantly loopy, like hyper loopy, and it just makes my palms sweaty, and it's very fucking ugly, and I don't fucking like it. It feels like I literally feel like I'm gonna die every single time I have a panic attack, because I feel like my heart's gonna explode. If you want, you can comment on my channel and tell me your experiences, and tell me how you felt during these certain episodes, because I call them episodes just because, they don't, like, I think the longest episode I had was like 10-15 minutes, and I mean, that's long enough, trust me. Like I said, these experiences, these episodes come on randomly, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be driving, you could be riding, you could be driving, you could be fucking doing whatever. They can come on whenever. But I had this one time where, excuse me, I was driving and it hit me so fucking hard that I had to pull over, and I just had to talk to myself, and I'd be like, hey, you basically have to calm yourself down and be like, hey bro, it's all good. There's nothing to be panicky about. It's all good. And just really focus on yourself, focus on what you're dealing with, and just keep convincing yourself that it's gonna be over whenever, So that's what I had to do with that, because it can happen anytime, and you want to make sure though that if you're in control of a vehicle, or you're doing anything that's going to be hazardous to other people, you want to make sure, like for damn fucking sure, dude, that you are away from people. Just whatever you're doing, just stop, figure shit out, and calm yourself down before you do any other movement, because this is serious. It could affect other people as well as yourself. Panicking and having anxiety is not the only disorder that there is with like anxiety. There's social anxiety, there's panic attacks, there's phobias, there's PTSD. I'll talk about these too, because having social anxiety is a big thing too, because a lot of guys, when they come back, or women, male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter, when they come back from a stressful deployment, they can experience, like, if there's a big crowd, and you're just really tight, and you're bumping into people. Like, say if you go to Disney World, because I've been there, and sometimes it stresses me the fuck out. And you just get really stressed out because the movement is like this. You're bumping into people, and you're trying to get to one place to another, and it's just so stressful because it's so slow because there's too many people, and there's a lot of people that don't give a fuck. They'll bump into you, and they'll just go straight through you. They don't care. They have no manners. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, that's social anxiety. I have that. I really do. Like I hate being around a lot of people because people piss me off. I'm not a good people person just because of that. But panic. Like I just talked about, panicking. It could be over something really stupid. It could be over something like, you're driving in your car and you see a car pull out in front of you, or a car just pulling right beside you, and you can be like, oh my god, that car could just pull out in front of me and my car could just explode. My car could just flip over, do 30,000 flips into a house full of children, and the whole house explodes. I'm talking. That's no fucking joke. That is not a joke. That's how I feel, almost on a daily basis. But you can't think like that. You cannot think like that. There's phobias. Phobias. That is another thing that can stress you the F out. So, phobias kind of deals with, like say if you see a spider in your house, you're like, oh my god, there is 13,000 million spiders with venomous fangs. They're gonna bite my ass is gonna fall off, and I'm gonna have fucking throat cancer. Like, that's how crazy it sounds. I'm not even joking, that's how crazy it sounds. And that's one thing that leads to another, and of course I talked about PTSD and all that stuff like that, and because I don't really have a whole lot of phobias actually I don't think I have any phobias, but so my main thing is like panicking and having like social anxiety with my anxiety issue, and day to day I have to keep practicing by myself how to deal with those certain situations, and that's one thing that you have to teach yourself over time. It takes time. Don't think that's going to take a week or a day, whatever. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of patience. So just keep working on it, keep going with it, and don't give up. I'm telling you, just don't give up. Keep going with it. So going in with coping mechanisms. When I was going through therapy for about a year and a half now, actually no more than that, almost 2 years now, I've learned a lot of like coping mechanisms of how to cope with your anxiety and how to kind of mitigate your panic attacks. So I mean, you can always talk, or you can always try breathing techniques. They say when you are struggling with a panic attack, is to take deep breaths, but not in your chest, but in through your stomach. You want to do it in your mid-range. I don't know why. I didn't ever ask why, but I know it helps because I've done it and it helped me. Oh, my good old trusty notes over here. What time am I at? 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up with a couple things that I want to talk to you guys about. Is with these certain techniques of coping mechanisms, yes, they can help you, but a lot of times you want to share and talk about what you're going through. It's a big thing. You want to go in and talk to somebody, like say if you feel comfortable with a friend or you want to talk to a counselor. I would suggest talking to a counselor just because they're trained to help you in that certain situation, whatever you're going through. So go talk to a counselor and be honest with them. Be open and honest with them, because that's all they want from you is honesty. So that way they can dissect They can go in deeper, ask you questions, and figure out where this is whole coming from. This whole panic and anxiety is coming from. Just be open about it. Don't be afraid to get help. I'm telling you, I was like that a long time ago. I was like, I don't need that shit. After my first deployment, and all that, I had a bunch of bad shit going off my first deployment. And I was like, I came home and I was like, man, I don't need that. I'm good. I don't need that shit. And before I know it, dude, and I was doing all these bad things. I was, punching holes in the fucking wall. So, with that being said, like, my wife would tell me that I would do these things, and I'd be like, did I really do that? And she would show me. I'm like, oh my god, I've never done that before in my entire life. So that's when I knew. I was like, hey, I need to get help. I need to talk to somebody, because I am doing something that I've never done before, and it's related to probably my last deployment. Because I've been on 2 deployments, 2 combat deployments, and the first one was the shittiest. Yeah, I'm digressing. Just don't be afraid to talk to somebody. Say if you don't want to talk to a counselor, say you want to talk to somebody that has been through the same shit you have. Sometimes it's almost better to talk alone or however, like joke. Whenever I talk to somebody that has done the same thing as I have, I kind of use humor to kind of lighten the subject up and not make it so serious, But sometimes it just needs to be serious. Sometimes you just need to let it all out, because if you bottle up inside, it's going to blow up, and you might take it out on yourself.